It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the final 4 films of January 2007, January 26th to be exact. It's the dumping month. What more can you expect? But we will get at least one good movie out of this block that I have here. 4 films to look at, but it certainly is not going to be our first movie, that's for damn sure. From the same people that gave you Date Movie comes the second of their spoof films. I don't even want to call them that. I mean, they're basically just reference films, and I'll explain more about that after I show you the trailer for Epic Movie. We made this the #1 movie in the country. We made this a blockbuster hit. Why? Why did we do that? Why didn't we do the same thing to the good spoof movies? Why wasn't Superhero Movie, which was made by real people who know what they're doing with spoof movies, why wasn't that the big hit? Why wasn't Reno 911 Miami the big hit? No, we have to make this movie the big hit that it was. And like I said before, this isn't even a spoof movie. It's mostly just a reference movie of everything that's happened in the last year. Because literally, the plot is a parody of the epic film genre. And I put epic film in quotation marks because, you got the Chronicles of Narnia, that's an epic. Harry Potter's an epic. Pirates of the Caribbean, X-Men, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, those are epics. There's the references to the Da Vinci Code. You see in the trailer the Snakes on a Plane reference. You see Borat in there because he was popular. You could tell that this movie was made so goddamn quickly that nobody gave a crap of why this movie was called Epic Movie. They just had to make a movie referencing everything that happened in the last year, and someone said, let's just come up with a title. I don't know, Epic Movie. Perfect, put it out there. It's so bad that even 20th Century Fox wanted nothing to do with it. You notice their logo nowhere on this trailer whatsoever. It's bad when the studio that's putting this out is so ashamed of this movie that they're not even bothering to put their own studio logo attached to it. That is how bad this movie is. When a studio is so disappointed with the result that they have here that they don't even want their own studio logo attached to it, you're in for a really bad movie. And this is a really bad movie. Date Movie at least had some brief flashes of promise to it. There were some funny moments here and there in Date Movie. Not enough to make the movie watchable. Even in something like an epic, in this movie here, there was one moment that did make me laugh, and that was the scene with the Superman parody, with the guy getting shot in the eye, with the Superman character in here getting shot in the eye. That was funny. That's one joke out of millions of other, not even jokes, but like I said, references. They reference stuff that's been popular the last year. You see P. Diddy in there. You see MTV Cribs. They make pointless references to Star Wars. They even have Star Wars. They have the I can't even remember who they are now. Stormtroopers. I should know this. I know Star Wars so much. They have stormtroopers in this movie for no reason. They make references to Paris Hilton. What makes Paris Hilton part of an epic movie? Nothing. Nothing about this movie makes any sense whatsoever. The jokes are not funny. Nacho Libre gets mentioned in here for no reason except for the fact that it was one of the most notable movies that came out last year. So throw it in there. That's what this movie is. Not even a parody film, not even a spoof film, just a reference film. This is the type of film that the directors look at this and go, hey, remember this? Remember this? Remember this from the past year? Remember this from the past year? Who cares if it actually doesn't amount to anything funny in general, but you remember it. It was in your life for the past year, so thank you for your money. That's literally what the movie is. Nothing about this movie works on any level whatsoever. It's not clever. It's not funny. It wastes some really good talent in here. Fred Willard's in here again. So is Jennifer Coolidge. Why are they in here? Why do they keep wasting their talents on these movies? It's such a disastrous movie, man. Not even the disaster movie that they literally called disaster movie that came out not but 2 years afterwards. Well, not even that, a year and a half after this movie did. But I'm just rambling on here. Bottom line, the movie sucks. This movie really, really sucks. This is not funny. It's not clever. The references are completely idiotic and stupid. The jokes are not funny. Just avoid it like the plague. It's one of the worst movies ever made. And just when you think it can't get any worse from these two guys, we still got a long way to go. But yeah, what more did you expect me to say? It's epic movie, for God's sakes. How about a really good movie that came out this weekend? Here's Joe Carnahan with Smoking Aces. See, I was the smart one. I actually went to go see this on opening weekend instead of wasting my money on the movie that everyone else went to go see. But this is Smoking Aces, and it centers around the chase for a Las Vegas magician turned mafia informant played by Jeremy Piven, on whom a $1 million bounty is placed. And they have an ensemble cast going after him, including Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Common, Andy Garcia, Alicia Keys, Taraji P. Henson, Ray Liotta, Chris Pine, Matthew Fox. And they're going after this guy to either capture, kill, or protect him. And yeah, this is a really good movie that came out in late January, and it really blew me away at how good it really was. It really opened my eyes to this director, Joe Carnahan, who I had seen beforehand with Narc before this, and then after that he did The A-Team, and he doesn't really get the proper attention he deserves. I think he's a really solid action director overall. I was really waiting to see what he could do next with a bigger budgeted film, and I don't think he's really done anything of noteworthiness. I take that back. He did do The Grey, which was a really good underrated Liam Neeson film, but yeah, everything after that has not been up to the par that it should have been. Like, I really was excited to see what this good director was going to do down the road, and he only had a couple of other good movies left, and then unfortunately, his films after that, not quite as successful overall. Neither was the prequel, the direct-to-video prequel they did with Smoking Aces 2, which came out a couple years later, but this is a really good movie. I like the cast involved in here. You get to see a lot of really good talent in here. Alicia Keys and Common showing what they can do as actors. I think they're really good in here. It's got its style like Quentin Tarantino, and some people were kind of turned off by that, but that's what I appreciated more about it. In fact, honestly, I didn't see Pulp Fiction until well after I saw Smoking Aces. Like, that should tell you something right there. Like, it took me a long time to see Pulp Fiction, and it was this movie right here that really kind of got me to see Pulp Fiction. It's just like, I'm seeing a lot of vibes from Smoking Aces, so maybe I should check this movie out, and that's how I was introduced to Quentin Tarantino as a whole. Yeah, it's a really good movie, man. I really like it a lot. A very underrated film. Definitely check it out. Smoking Aces. So now let's get back to some garbage. Why not? Let's take a look at Jennifer Garner and Timothy Olyphant starring in the romantic comedy Catch and Release. So Jennifer Garner plays a woman who, after her fiancé dies, she seeks comfort in her friends, learning her secrets while falling for his best friend, played by Timothy Olyphant. That's it. That's the entire movie as a whole, and yeah, it's not that great. It's a movie that really is very lackluster. It is not really that enjoyable. It is not a film that is really that exciting or engaging. It's just a bland, boring movie. It's a movie where the purpose is there. You get a reason why the film is trying to exist. You got a really good writer who's making her directorial debut on this, which is Suzanne Grant, who also wrote Aaron Brockovich, as the trailer said. But other than that, though, there's really not a whole lot about the movie that makes it worth it in the end. The movie really isn't that enjoyable. The dialogue is not really that great either. This was kind of around the time also when Kevin Smith was trying to branch out. I mean, he had been known for just being the indie director, the indie darling, and then Clerks 2 was the big success, so everybody wanted to get him involved in more things. He was in Live Free or Die Hard later that year, too, for God's sakes. I mean, they really tried their hardest to make him a common household name, and he's fine in here. He plays the comedic best friend. I mean, Garner and Oliphant, they're trying their best to show off some chemistry, and it's there, but there's just nothing there that really makes this one stand out compared to other movies. This is one that kind of came and went so quickly that I honestly forgot about it after about 2 days after I saw it. Not even that, maybe a day and a half or so, but it's a movie that you watch it, nothing too spectacular about it. It comes and goes, and then you just could immediately forget about it almost instantaneously. Not much more to say about it. Not that good of a movie, so yeah. That's a skip on Catch and Release. And let's go ahead and see if the last film can turn the tide here. And I'm just going to say it won't because, yeah, it's January. What the hell do you think it's going to be? But let's talk about Blood and Chocolate. So in Bucharest, Romania, the orphan Vivian was raised by her aunt after losing her parents 10 years ago in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. How you go from Colorado to Romania is beyond me, but just go with it. Her family belongs to a bloodline of werewolves, and Vivian is promised to the leader of the pack, Gabriel, When the American cartoonist Aiden, who is researching werewolves for his publisher for the next edition of his magazine, meets Vivian, they immediately fall in love with each other. However, the evil son of Gabriel and Vivian's cousin Rafi poisons Gabriel about the love of Vivian, forcing her to choose between her bonds with her family and her passion for Aiden. So, yeah, this is another one of those movies that brings in a little bit of Romeo and Juliet in here. I mean, this movie isn't quite as gay as The Covenant is, but it's not quite gay in a way that's not intentional, but it kind of is, like Twilight. There's nothing about, it's kind of right in the middle, and not in a good way. Like, this movie is just, it's bad. It's another one of those movies that is clearly trying to rip off Underworld from the same people that made Underworld, by the way. This was their attempt to try to create another franchise out of this, and it failed miserably because the acting is not that great, wasting a lot of talent in here. The writing isn't that good. You got Aaron Kruger and Christopher Landon. Landon, of course, went on to direct, become a huge part of the Paranormal Activity movies and did a lot of other movies as well. Happy Death Day, Freaky, and yeah, the movie doesn't work because there's nothing of value to it whatsoever. The werewolf effects are not great. It's your typical CG schlock. The acting is not that great. The romance is not that great. It's just not a good movie. It's a film that is really poorly put together. It's a film that clearly knows what they're trying to do. They're trying to rip off Underworld, make another hit out of it, and people were smart enough not to buy into it. And yeah, for a good reason, because the movie was not very good. What more can you say? It's Blood and Chocolate. And even the title doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, Blood and Chocolate, yeah, you can avoid that like the plague as well. And with all of that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Now, the next time we meet, we begin the month of February with more movies from the dumpster bin, because the first couple weeks of February are also known as kind of dumpster months, dumpster weeks in general. We've got Kristen Stewart in the horror film The Messengers, and we also have Diane Keaton and Mandy Moore in Because I Said So. Will these two buck the trend? No, they won't. No, they won't. But we'll talk about them anyway on the next episode, so be on the lookout for that coming up tomorrow. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page. Check out the previous episode. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification button, and hit that bell so you get updates on when new videos come out, because we do post every single day here. Now, with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.